Hello, this is a video response to African Export's Classless Hoodrat Basketball Wives video. I watched the episode where Tammy had Keisha's purse, and I have a few things to say about the Basketball Wives brand and then the situation with Tammy and Keisha, as well as how black women are portrayed when it comes to this whole thing. First of all, I would like to say my main concern and what I think is an issue is the fact that this show is called Basketball Wives, and most of the women who either were on this show or are on this show have never been a wife or were on the verge of being a wife. Very few of them have actually had the experience of being a wife. My personal opinion is that when you have the title of a wife, you have a different perspective of who you are, who you're supposed to be, and how you are supposed to handle things as a wife. So I think that that's part of the problem. They don't have anybody to hold them accountable for what they do. Because if they were truly wives, they would have to go home to answer to their husbands about their behaviors and how they handle things. Um, with respect to the situation between Tammy and Keisha, I don't blame Keisha for handling the situation the way she did. And I think that Tammy is a manipulative person. I don't know what happened between Keisha and whoever she was having a conversation with where Tammy thought she was talking about her behind her back. This was actually the first episode that I've watched since September, October of last year because I found no entertainment value in watching this show. And it just started to become, I guess, mundane. It was the same thing every week. It was just drama. It was just a different week. But as far as how Keisha handled it, I think regardless of whether she was talking about Tammy behind her back or not, she had a right to remove herself from a situation where someone was possibly going to violate her personal space or was going to, she felt threatened. She had a right to, fight or flight, as they say. So, I don't have a problem with how she handled that. When it comes to Tammy and her being overly aggressive and Keisha had to be the B word in every other sentence and all this kind of stuff, I just thought that was unnecessary. It was silly. It was very high school. I think that Tammy has a lot to learn about how to deal with other women. And maybe it could be because she has never truly had the opportunity, not even the opportunity, but just has never learned how to deal with being around other women. I don't know. I honestly don't think that would be the case because, this is what, like the fourth season of this particular show. But outside of that, I don't know what her life is like or what she's been through. As African Export mentioned, she's dealt with some things, she's dealing with some things. But one thing about Tammy, I think that if she doesn't know how to handle alcohol or if she gets so aggressive when she drinks alcohol, maybe she shouldn't drink. That's just, it is what it is. When it comes to trying to solicit a response out of somebody, I think that she really just needs to find something else to do with her time because you can't make anybody do anything. I mean, anybody who saw that episode saw that Tammy, continued to, call Keisha out of her name and, doing all this stuff to try to get a response out of Keisha. And it just sent Keisha further and further away. And like I said, I don't blame her for responding that way, because everybody has a right to not have to deal, well, as I said earlier, everybody has a right to, have their peace and to have their own space. When you're being violated, you can remove yourself from the situation. As far as how the whole situation went with the purse, Keisha, I think, handled the situation the best way she possibly could have. And I think Tammy was a very smart woman in deciding to give her purse back because she felt her freedom was going to be taken away from her. I don't recall Keisha going to the, hotel personnel and saying anything about the purse was stolen. I heard her say that her personal property was in somebody else's possession and that she wanted it back. And I mean, that's what it was. Somebody else had it and she wanted it back. Um, Tammy, on the other hand, never should have taken her purse in the first place. It doesn't matter if she thought she owed her an apology. You can't control what anybody says about you. Yeah, you can threaten them and do all this and that to try to keep them from talking about you. But a part of living in this country is you have freedom of speech. And there are also laws on the flip side that protect you from being lied on and people giving misinformation about you. So both sides of the fence are covered when it comes to that. But I think Tammy really just needs to learn to control herself and to not be so aggressive towards people, because at the end of the day, you can't truly control what other people do. Regarding this whole situation with how quote unquote black women are portrayed when it comes to the Basketball Wives brand, I think that it represents women as a whole, not just black women. I think it just so happens that people have made Tammy the face of, or Tammy and Shawnee the face of black women, and that's unfair. First of all, many of us haven't seen the status that they have had with, dating or being married to, men in the NBA. Um, Many also have not had to endure, being in a circle of women with that status and having to deal with what comes along with that. Um, to me, when it comes to how women are portrayed, I don't think that all women should be judged based on that show, simply because not all women have experienced that or act like that or handle things in that manner. There are plenty of black women out here who are educated, who know how to speak well. I mean, African Export is a good example. She speaks well, she's educated, she's doing her thing, and I've never been around her or know her personally, but I don't think she would be one to just jump on somebody because of this or that. Life is short. Like, why even entertain such negativity? Keep it moving. If you don't like me, then do us both a favor and I talk to me, and we can both move on about our lives. Period, point blank. But anyway, that's pretty much my response. I don't have much else to say. I think that, if anything should be discussed about that whole situation with Basketball Wives, is women learning to be better examples for our young women. Because at the end of the day, what they see is what they will emulate. And that's just what it is. So, I just challenge us all to be better examples to our young women and to help them to understand that you don't have to be what you see. Be better. Always be better than what you see. So, feel free to comment. We can keep this going. We can talk about it. Talk to y'all later.